So why do you support Donald Trump?
So I agree with his immigration policies. I do not agree with his abortion policies. I will say that. Um, Economy is definitely much better, in my opinion. Uh, but may policies for sure.
Okay,
We can go over
immigration.
specific policies if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Go ahead.
because there's obviously a lot. So
By the way, are you
what points
driving
did
right
you
now?
want? No.
Just making sure. Okay, so what immigration and
I'm
economic
in the past.
policy?
I'm in the past.
Just making sure.
Yeah. What'd you ask? Sorry.
So what immigration and economic policy?
So in regards to the tariffs, I think it's still kind of a little bit too early to make the assumption that the tariffs are going to be bad. I would argue that America has the largest GDP in the entire world. I think that the tariffs, like I said, I think in the long run, it's potential that they will benefit America. I think we're jumping the gun a little bit too early to say 7, 8 months in that they're not going to work. I'll say that first and foremost.
No, we can tell you before tariffs were going to be put in place that they're not going to work because we understand how
We don't
tariffs
know that.
operate
You can't
and
make
we
that
have
assumption that
historical evidence of how tariffs have operated. We don't know that we do.
how can you make that
Economists have
assumption?
indicated that to be true.
Economists have been okay. So the tariffs have been in place for how long?
Since April.
Okay, and you think in that short span of time that the tariffs have automatically just not are not going to work?
The tariffs have not worked so far. They've done horrible for the country.
Okay, but I'm asking you in the future. Like I said, this is for what 6, 7 months in of a presidency. The tariffs have been in effect roughly what for an August now, so 2, 3 months.
Nice mouth.
And you're making the assumption that based off of a 2, 3 month, uh, I guess, trial, that they're just instantly not going to work. Is that your
Um,
assumption? Who's an economist?
I just want to let you know what is 8 minus 4.
What is A-4 is for?
Yeah, that's 4 months. Over 4 months. We're almost into 5 months because it's about to be
Well, they were
about to be
paused. They were
September.
paused. Okay, well, they were paused. So there was times where the tariffs were paused with certain countries. So let's not just make the assumption that there was automatically 6, 7 months or 4 months, whatever it was. So
Why do you keep saying 6, 7?
because that's what your chat's saying.
You're just trying to get comments, bro. He's just trying to get comments, bro.
No,
He's
but here you're making. So here I'll say this.
he's grifting
You're
for
basically
attention,
saying
chat.
economists are saying that the tariffs are going to essentially like make the prices of groceries, of everything, gas, crude oil. You're just making that assumption off of a small sample. Like, okay, if this was 2, 3 years down the road, then I can maybe see what you're saying. I could agree with you on that. But we have a small sample size of the tariffs. I mean, we can't. In my personal opinion, I don't think that that's something that we can just say, yeah, the tariffs are not working.
So again, I can point to that not only are tariffs not working, but they're not going to work in the long run because of how tariffs operate. I can explain to you the process. So far since Trump has imposed tariffs, we've seen prices increase, right? The rate of inflation increase. We've seen real GDP growth decline. We've seen jobs numbers be so horrible that he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics because he said that the jobs report was politically biased. That's embarrassing,
Okay,
actually.
Parker, you understand that every president that's been president in America, the inflation has gone up, correct? And did you know that during
I don't dispute that.
okay, and then you know that during the presidency of Biden, the inflation rate was at the highest it's ever been
Yeah, but
during that time.
what economic policy did he pass to cause that?
The Inflation Reduction Act was one of them.
The Inflation Reduction Act was put in
Yeah,
place right before inflation declined. It was also deficit reducing.
it was put in 2022.
Explain to me. Yeah, it was right before inflation fell a ton. Explain to me how the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation, given that it was deficit reducing.
So I'm asking you, when was it? When was the Inflation Reduction Act signed in by Biden? or I guess, sorry, not Biden, but
I want to say
when
August
was it?
2022.
So for the 2 years that it was signed in, why is it that the inflation rate did not go down? Because I want to know how much was it, like 800 billion that we signed in for that?
800
Look up
billion
the
what?
number for me. No, I'm asking how much of that was funded for that? 800 billion?
Funded for what?
The Inflation Reduction Act, how much was put towards that? How much did Biden
It was
sign off
deficit reducing, meaning it would it reduced the debt.
on? Did it?
Yes, and yes, it was
Oh,
August
wait.
2022.
What's the numbers then? What did it reduce it by? How much?
August 2022 had it at 8.3%, and the month after that it was 7.7. The month after that 6.5. The month after that 6.4. The month after that 5.0. The month after that 4.9. The month after that 4.0. So it's like it heavily dropped right after.
So if that was the case, then why would Trump take that away? If it was that good, Parker.
You ask yourself that. I'm telling you, it was deficit reducing. Would you like to tell me what aspect of the bill caused inflation?
What part of the bill caused inflation?
Yeah.
I would argue that solar energy is not where it is, and I don't think that that's the future. I think that we're kind of going through that whole phase of. I think it's not cost efficient to. I would say, I guess, go solar, completely solar, right? I think that crude oil is still going to always be cheaper. I think that's a large portion of where we get trades from as well. I just don't think that solar energy is very it's not going to be one of those things that we're going to be able to do overnight, and it's not going to be something we're going to be able to do anytime soon. It's not very cost efficient as in comparison to.
It's decreasing in cost. In the past 15 years, it's decreased by over 3 times in its cost per kilowatt.
Right.
It's
So
massively decreasing in
let me
cost. Solar absolutely is going to help decrease the cost of electricity and energy. The gutting of the Inflation Reduction Act has led to electricity prices going up, alongside specifically the cost of electricity going up because of Donald Trump's tariffs. So there's multiple different things that specifically led to the price going up. Solar, as it acts as a substitution for electricity, would cause prices to go down. All right, and it's specifically important to address because of the effects of climate change, right, on our globe. You understand that that's it is practical. I don't know what you're talking about. The Department of Energy. What?
Do you own a Tesla? Does anybody? I don't know that people own Teslas in the chat, correct?
Wait, Teslas? We don't like Tesla because of Elon Musk.
Okay, well I know that. Whatever, but it's where I'm getting the point. I
own a hybrid.
Well, depending what kind of hybrid you have, I suppose. But Tesla is just. Let's just use Tesla for an example, right? It's not very practical for people to go plug in their car and have to sit there and wait 30-40 minutes, right? People want something that's immediate, something
I'm not disputing that. And oftentimes the superchargers are a lot quicker today, but it is the case that over time that will become quicker. Now the idea that you're referencing, it's not that much of an issue. Like when you go out to eat, right? You go get food or you go to the mall, you can plug in while you're at the mall, it completely charges up. Overnight, you can have it plugged in and it can charge overnight, right?
Parker, that's not practical.
My dad drives EV every single day, right? He plugs in every single night and he goes to work with his EV car. He's been doing that for a decade, dude. What are you talking about? It's not viable.
I will disagree with you because that's your father.
It's not viable. It's been for a decade. He's been doing that. What are you talking about?
Okay, but you're talking about your father's situation. That's not practical for everybody else.
I'm not saying it's practical for everyone else, but you said it's not practical at all. That's practical in that context.
It's really not, though.
What are you talking about? It's not practical.
How many electric vehicles are on the road in comparison to gas-powered vehicles?
In California, there's a lot more.
Well,
I live
Gavin
in
Newsom is running California into the ground, so.
Well, it's not because of the EV policy.
And
tell me what one thing he's doing that's bad. I'd like to hear from your position.
Gavin Newsom's doing bad? Could we talk about the wildfires that were mismanaged?
In what way? Because of Trump cutting federal funding or threatening to cut federal funding?
No. Are you talking about FEMA?
Wait. Explain to me. What did Gavin Newsom do?
They were not prepared for that wildfire in the slightest. Okay.
Yeah. How would they have prepared? Tell me what should they have done? Tell me what should they have done to prepare?
Number one, they could have evacuated a lot better. They did not have evacuation plans. They did not have water.
You're lying. I live in California. Yes, they did.
Parker, they didn't have enough water resources there. Number one, they ran out of water.
We have enough water. We just didn't have highly pressurized water, right? Specifically required to go into the hoses.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
Yes,
And
I do.
wait,
Because
wait, tell me, how are we going to get better services for that? We're going to fund the public systems more. Yeah, Trump
you,
supporters are definitely advocating for that, right?
I am advocating that because what did Biden do for all the natural disasters with what the hurricanes that happened in the Carolinas?
I just want to let you know, if California were red, we'd have issues to a greater extent with fires.
I don't want to let you know that California is the like number one self-sustaining state, and they didn't have enough water pressure. Parker, really?
So I'm just telling you, if we were a Republican state, we would have had less funding for firefighters, right? And we would have had less funding in general to be able to fight, right, any of the fires or have highly pressurized water because they'd be gutting those programs.
Let's not
Seriously.
sit here and act.
Yeah,
Let's not
yeah.
actually-
We'd be hearing that they don't want to pay for other people's houses not to be burned down.
Hang on. Let's not sit there and act like Biden and Kamala did anything well. Sorry. Let's not
Why
act
you're
like
gonna
they did
pivot again
well.
after I just debunked you on that?
No,
Nice job.
I'm staying on the topic of natural disasters here. Let's not like act that they did anything well for the people that suffered in the Carolinas. They're still recovering, right? Can you tell me how much money they gave those people in the Carolinas for the damages?
$750. And you want to know why? Because Republicans capped it. They voted to cap it.
No,
Republicans
that
voted
is
to cap it,
not
and
true.
Democrats wanted it to be higher. Literally.
not true.
Literally.
That is not
That's the
true.
reason.
No, that is not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not. But
Yes,
you
it
can
is.
think that.
And wasn't Trump talking about getting rid of FEMA?
He did. He's going to. If he hasn't already. I'm pretty sure
Wait,
he
so-
has.
so-
FEMA
so
hasn't
how-
done anything well.
Oh, wait. Where did they get the money from? Where did they get the money
Taxpayers.
from? Through what? Through what set of program?
Like I said, I'm not going to get into the FEMA. I think FEMA is useless.
Wait.
Completely.
Now, through what program? Through what systems did they get the $750?
Taxpayers.
Through what system?
Like I said, the president has a lot more power than you think. I'm telling you, FEMA they're not good. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. $750 is nothing. If we want to talk about that,
yeah,
we can
exactly.
talk about
Tell
how much
that.
money
You know what? Where was this energy when
So-
Republicans were
so-
voting for that?
you wanna know-
Seriously,
here, Parker,
where
I'm
was
gonna-
this
I'm gonna
energy?
be-
Where
I'm
was
gonna
this
tell you
energy?
why-
I'm waiting for this. I've been waiting for
Hang
this
on,
for
Parker,
so
hang on,
long.
hang on.
Okay,
Hang
yeah,
on, hang on. I'm
$750
gonna
is
tell
not
you
enough.
why- I'm gonna-
Hold up, stop. $750
Okay.
is absolutely not enough. So when Republicans voted to cap it at $750, you agree with me that's bad.
Republicans didn't. No, that was Biden's doing. He was the one that
Really?
signed
That was
off on the
Biden?
$150.
That was Biden. That was Biden. Please tell me that was Biden. Please
It
give me a
was.
source. Give me
was.
give me a source. You say it was signed off. Could Biden have gotten more? Did
Yes,
Biden advocate for
100%.
more?
Yes, 100%.
Biden advocated for more, correct?
No, Biden could have advocated for more.
Oh, he didn't advocate for more.
Well, he wasn't really running the show there, but we all know that.
Wait, did he advocate for more? Yes or no?
Did he might have said something? Maybe. He said, well, we'll look into it. We'll see what we can do. I guarantee you there is something where he said, we'll see if we could get him more funding. We'll make sure everyone's taken care of. I guarantee you that he could have signed off more than $750, Parker.
Really?
He was
and how would he have done that? By getting Congress to vote on different conditions?
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
And who were the people not voting for increasing that specifically? It would be Republicans. Republicans, literally.
No. Again, who was president at the time?
Wait, the president doesn't determine that.
I understand that,
The president
Biden
doesn't.
is the one that has to sign off on it.
Yeah, but he doesn't control the purse, right? Within that
I
respect.
understand that. I understand
Meaning
that,
that
but it's
he was advocating for more, but it is the case that they were the ones that capped it. So I'm just telling you, then where was this energy specifically when referencing Republicans?
Where was this energy when we were sending all that money that could have gone to them, but we were sending it to Ukraine?
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
Where was this energy when a natural disaster like that happened? But we were, we're so quick to do $750, but we're sending billions and millions of dollars to Ukraine for the war.
Dude, that's Republicans. That's an issue with Republicans, not
not,
Democrats.
though.
Democrats were
Parker, that is
advocating to
not.
increase this.
Here, I'll tell you exactly why.
This is
that
really
you guys
frustrating
lost.
because I keep telling you the same thing over and over again, and apparently you're not understanding.
Here, I'll tell you exactly why Democrats lost in a landslide. Right? Misproportion. And I won't even use Biden. Let's just use.
I'll
Mayor
tell you why.
Johnson.
There's a lot of idiots in this country.
Yeah,
a lot of
here,
idiots in this
I'm gonna tell
country.
you, I'm not. And here, I want to throw this out here because I know all your viewers are Democrats. I'm not sitting here saying that all Democrats are bad, right? I'm not sitting here saying, but here, there's certain ones that are really bad. I'll take for example, not Mayor Johnson in the city of Chicago. It's horrible. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and say all Democrats are bad. I'm not going to say all Republicans are great. Okay, there's policies of Trump that I don't like that he has, but I will say that there are a lot of bad. I will say Biden definitely mismanaged his presidency during the 4 years. I think the border policies that he had were horrible. There's no arguing that.
What border
That's
policy?
what the open border policy that he had.
He didn't
I
have
know that
open border policy. Wait, so then let's clarify.
he didn't have a
How do you
policy
identify?
for it. But he
How
didn't,
do you
okay, hang
how
on,
do
he
you
didn't have
how do you identify what is an open border?
basically we had no border security, Parker. They were really basically letting people in. We had sanctuary cities that were
So
crime ridden.
is it based upon the level of people, like in terms of encounters?
I would say lack of preparedness on the border. I would say border security,
Border crossings.
border crossings were highly increased. I think the
Okay,
asylum
okay.
is
So you judge whether or not the border is secure based upon border crossings, right? Okay. So then, like, let me. Do you agree with that? Is that your position? Just trying to clarify.
no. Just say that one part again.
Uh,
Border crossings.
yeah. Do you judge whether or not it's a secure border or an open border based upon the level of border crossings?
Border crossings and border security. I think funding for border security. Yes.
Okay, so then, for example, you would agree with me that at the end of Biden's administration, the one that Trump inherited, the border was more secure and less open than what it was at the end of Trump's first administration.
I'm going to stop you there because we're going to start using that inherited word, right? Because people love to use that. Oh, Trump inherited Obama's economy. Oh, Trump inherited Biden's border. I think that term is just, it's extremely like, I hate that term because there's a lot of things that a president can do on day one and that first month. A lot of executive orders can be signed. A lot of things can go into play, right? It takes time, but I think that saying that, oh, they inherited this economy, they inherited this, like people were saying, oh, egg prices are extremely high.
Hey, do you want to respond to what I had to say instead of just talking about random shit, please?
Sorry, no, I mean, okay, so your question is what?
What? You don't even know the question now?
That because you're kind of manipulating it. Say it again. Go ahead. Say it again.
I'm manipulating what? What am I manipulating?
I will answer your question. Just
no. What am I manipulating? Just tell me first.
If you're trying to use the inherited word,
what about it?
And I just don't think that's a very logical thing for people to say. Is that they inherited a certain thing, like a certain economy or a certain.
It's true. When he gets in office, that's what it is. It was just to demonstrate something. I'm saying, was the border more secure and less open when Biden was in office at the end of his administration compared to Trump's first administration at the very end?
It was less secure under Biden.
Even though there were less border crossings on daily average at the very end of his administration comparative to the end of Trump's first administration. So the border he inherited was actually less secure and more open than the border that he gave away to Trump.
Parker, you know why that number is because Trump, he basically ran on the notion that he was going to deport people the first day he was coming in. So if you want to use those numbers, make sure that you put that in there, what he campaigned on.
I'm waiting for you to like acknowledge this because this is what you said.
You want me to use a statistic when we know that the reason why people were leaving in flocks towards the end of Biden's presidency was because they knew Trump was going to get in and they knew that he was going to start deporting people. It was broadcasted on all news outlets. Like they knew that. Like you can't use that logic. You can't use that statistic. Like you can't use that. And it was a no.
By the way, the number I'm referencing was prior to Trump getting elected.
Right. Because
so the election hadn't even happened yet, and they had lower border crossings
he campaigned
than the end
on
of Trump.
The entire time.
What?
He campaigned on deportation. That's literally what his biggest thing.
But no one knew he was going to win.
Parker, we knew he was going to win.
At the point I'm referencing, there wasn't a determination of who was going to win. It was back and forth.
Are you saying that at the end of Biden's presidency, at the end of 2024, there was less border crossings?
Yeah, than the end of Trump's administration. First administration, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's because Trump campaigned on telling people he was going to deport them. That was his biggest thing that he won on was deportation.
Dude, so by the way, he won't acknowledge this. So the border was secure and not open under Trump or under Biden because it is the case that Trump was like talking about he was in his first administration as well. Like, was he not doing that when he was in office?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I didn't vote in 2016 for Trump or anybody, but in the state of that we're in now, this was the first year I had to vote because it's. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care for either one presidency, but I would rather pick Trump. I
So
just
you
want to
want
know
to
that if
respond to
you're
the point
polling
I'm making?
statistics, I'm not trying to like bend the argument here, but you're trying to pull statistics for Biden, like to make Biden look better. We know that his border policies. That's why
Well,
they
no,
lost.
so based upon the argument that you're providing that, oh my God, there was an open border under Biden's administration, right? That same argument can be applied to Trump using the same statistics that you identify it to be an open border based upon, right? Like that's all I'm showing you is that you calling it an open border would then mean Trump his under his administration there was an open border, and if there wasn't an open border specifically, right, under Trump's administration, well then there wasn't an open border at the end of Biden's administration, and then Trump inherited a border that was not open and was already secured.
Right, but we knew going into it what Trump was going to do with the border. That was, like I said, we're running in circles here because that's basically what
And
he
what he's
campaigned
doing
on.
is bad. What he's doing is bad.
I'm gonna argue that again. I'm gonna argue that because I personally don't agree with you. How okay? I'll let you go. How do you? Why do you think that?
Why? Because he's violating people's due process rights. He specifically acted like he didn't have to go the legal way to deport people, but then he clarifies and says that people have to go the legal way when they're saying that they have to come to the country that way. So it's just
What
completely
case?
contradictory and hypocritical. We can point to like the insane and humane treatment that has existed in terms of the camps that have been created by Trump, right? In terms of the alligator Alcatraz specifically, where like people would have literally maggots and different types of insects in their food, right? Along with like plenty of other harmful conditions, right?
We
We
can
can
go
point
back
to,
and we can find
which
we
is the
can
reason
find
as to why it got shut down.
we can also find clips of children that were locked in jails or were in basically camps under Biden's administration. They're trying to get people pushed through. There's videos out there under Biden when I could just show them to you.
And if you could show me any of
Biden
the
doesn't
same
live in a perfect,
conditions that existed, I will obviously
but
call that
he
out.
had it
But
too, though,
secondly, I do just want
partner.
to acknowledge that there's a distinction in due process. Plus, in terms of the Biden administration, they deported people out of prioritization who have committed violent crimes and bad crimes, whereas specifically the Trump administration is disproportionately deporting people who have not committed violent crimes or have no criminal record.